2, 3, 4. When I'm lonely, I drink a fancy beer.
Fancy beer.
Oh, when I want you only, I drink a fancy beer.
Fancy beer.
And when the weather's stormy and daybreak is far, I'd throw an extra $1.50 on the bar. There's no sense in saving pennies if I don't know where you are. Oh, I drink a fancy beer.
Fancy beer.
Hello, and welcome to The Beer Show. I'm Steve B. He's my drinking buddy and good friend Eric T.
How you doing?
Good, Eric. How are you?
Doing great.
Awesome. Well, this episode is pretty much just all about Guinness. We got a couple of surprises for you, of course, but primarily we're going to be focused on Guinness Stout from Ireland, Dublin.
Yeah, Guinness has been around for a while. I did a little research on the history of Guinness, and going back, prior to the 1700s. I mean, we're talking 300 years ago. Prior to the 1700s, most of the beer that was drank in Ireland came from either Scotland or England. And then along comes this dude, Arthur Guinness. He inherited 100 pounds from his godfather.
100 pounds.
100 pounds doesn't sound like a whole lot today, but 100 pounds was a ton back then.
Sure.
So he opened up a brew pub in County Kildare. In 1759, he decided it was time to expand, so he moved over to St. James Gate in Dublin.
Where they are today.
Exactly where they are today. You know why they're there today? He signed a 9,000-year lease. 9,000 years. They're only 300 years into it.
They got about 8,700 to go.
They're just warming up.
And
They're just ramping up right now.
Not to cut you off, but I'm going to use the church key to.
Oh, that's a Guinness church key, isn't it?
It is. Got the
Right from the factory.
Not going to see that, but it looks like an old skeleton key, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, let's see how it works. Oh, it kind of works.
Yeah, well, yeah, he'll get there.
Yeah. You got to do it. You got to double clutch it, but that's all right.
Not bad.
Yeah.
So, Guinness, after he signed his 9,000-year lease, he stuck around. In 1769, he exported the first 6.5 barrels over to London. 1799, he realized that there's a new flavor in town. So we switched from ales to porters. That was the flavor of the day of choice in London.
Porters were very hot back then. I can tell you that.
Mm-hmm. And porters have changed over the years. So from that time, they've changed from porters to stouts, and that's just basically how they deal with the malts. Mm-hmm. But aside from that, I mean, it's still a dark beer. It's still a great beer. 1817, they exported the first couple of barrels over to North Carolina, and the rest, as they say, is history. It's been pouring around the world ever since.
Yeah, to the tune of about 100,000 pints a day.
That's amazing. 100,000 pints a day.
100,000 pints a day. Well, here's two right here going down a hatch.
Cheers.
There's two in 100,000. The Guinness Extra Stout is it's the godfather of all stouts. It's the godfather of all porters, which it was originally before it became stout. And here it is today. It's one of probably the most recognizable logos, the harp logo, which you can actually see here with the barrel end, which is quite collectible with Arthur Guinness's signature across the bottom. It's just an amazing stout. It's absolutely by far and away the best, most famous stout in the world, I would say.
Absolutely. And as a matter of fact, the Guinness family still owns 51% of the company.
Okay, no doubt.
Yeah.
Why not? Why wouldn't you?
I know 49% has been combined with with a company over in Britain. But the majority is still family owned.
Right.
What was it? Diageo, yeah.
Diageo, right.
That's from the merger with Grand Metropolitan in '97.
Right. it's amazing. It's just a great beer. Actually, it's on my bucket list. I actually haven't. I got to admit, I have not been to the brewery yet, but plan on doing so for sure.
I drove past it once and was forbidden to go in because my wife.
How
at
do
the
you
time-
drive past?
And my wife, it was on the other side of the river. Otherwise, I was running for it.
How do you drive past the Guinness Brewery? Okay, all right.
I was. My wife had better foresight than I did at the time. She knew that I wouldn't be coming out anytime soon, and we had to play in the catch. So
Fair
you
enough.
know,
Yeah. Well, she had a good point at the time.
she did have a point. I should have swapped flights, but you know, live and learn, right? You know, we'll do that next time.
And we're, Guinness is just such an amazing stout. We have, of course, we have Guinness stuff everywhere around the pub. We've got this bar towel. We've got signage over there. I've got signage over there. We got the barrel end, as we mentioned. In fact, I want to just quickly talk about my grandmother, my Nana, on my mom's side. She lived to be almost 100 years old, and she lived on 1 pint of Guinness a day. And
That sounds like good medicine to me.
yeah, and that's really what it was for her. It was almost therapeutic. It was, kind of about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. She was ready for that pint of Guinness. And anyway, so I want to just
Here's to Nana.
Cheers to Nana, and it's just again a wonderful beer. One of the best stouts out there, for sure.
One of the things that sets Guinness apart is that it's carbonated with nitrous oxide. I don't think it's nitrous oxide. That's a
I think it's nitro. That's why I always call it nitro, right? Oh,
Yeah.
it's Guinness on the nitro. Good.
Exactly.
And then when they pour it at the pub, they always, they fill it up to about halfway.
Yeah, you get it up to the harp is what they said, right?
Oh,
you
that's right.
tilt it to the harp and you pour it to the harp and then let it settle for 2 minutes.
That's it. Yeah.
And then you give it a little
Then you
topper.
top it off, and then it settles again, and voila. But and then sometimes, depending on where you are and how fancy the bartender might be, he might put a little shamrock on the top for you. He might do a little artwork on it. It's like kind of like a cappuccino, right?
You're drinking a better place than I am.
I don't know about that, but hey, yeah. I almost gave away our secret, but we got a couple of clips to show you later. But first, we're going to get into that nitro can, and we want to show you guys a couple of different variations on rather than just a straight Guinness. You can also do there's basically four different things, right? That's extremely popular. You got the black and tan. You got the half and half. Right, you got the black velvet,
Yeah.
and you got the snake bite.
Now, the snake bite isn't so much with Guinness, but it is an Irish beer mixed drink.
Because the snake bite is just
harp.
half Guinness and half harp on top.
The snake bite?
Wait,
Well, I'm sorry.
wait a minute.
we always
Did I
get
get that
confused.
right?
We always get confused on this one
I
here.
tell you, I always get the
But,
snake bite and the black velvet mixed up. But
yeah.
I think the black velvet is the cider and the Guinness.
The black velvet is the cider and the Guinness. You're
I
right.
thought so. Yeah,
I got
okay.
confused.
That's the thing.
The one
It's-
I'm thinking of, snake bite, is the harp and the cider.
Yeah.
And harp is Guinness's lager.
Right.
You know,
right,
so it's all in the same family. It's
Exactly.
just
It's still
just a
Irish.
different color.
Yeah, still Irish, and
Yeah.
and then the black and tan is traditionally with the
That's made with Bass.
Guinness and yes, right. See, it's so
Let's see.
confusing.
I wish
Where's
somebody
the
would have a
menu?
menu.
There's the
There we
menu.
go.
So we're
So
going to show.
thanks to our friends down at Mulligan's for that menu.
Yeah. I want to thank Damien down at Mulligan's Bar,
And Mike.
and Mike, of course, the owner, but Damien especially, because we're going to show you a clip in just a little bit where he actually pours as a professional.
The way it should be.
Wait, hold on. He pours as a professional.
He pours us drinks.
He pours as a professional black and tan. Now,
No. He does us.
Yes,
it's a half and half.
What?
Yeah, I'm gonna go half and half, and I think he also does a black velvet for us. But
Eric's right. That's what it is.
I got
so,
lucky. I have
yeah,
notes.
the black and so the black and tan though, just to clarify, the black and tan is traditionally made with bass, which we also have the towel here, bar towel for. So bass and Guinness is a traditional black and
And
tan.
Dave will tell us a story about how that came to be. It has nothing to do with the colors.
That's right, and we're going to let him set that up and tell us about that. But that's the traditional black and tan. However, bass is not readily available here, and so they substitute the Fat Tire, which if you watch our last episode, we go into Fat Tire extensively. It's one of our favorite beers that we covered in the other episode. And then he also goes on to pour us a half and half, you're correct, which is half Harp and half Guinness. And so what we're going to try to do today is recreate a couple of these.
Well, the black and tan, the local version, substituting Fat Tire, and then we're also going to try to do the Black Velvet, which is a cider. Since we don't have Irish cider here, we're going to substitute a North American cider, and utilize some Guinness.
Sure. Tell you what, we'll take a commercial break. We'll come back, and then on the other side of that, we'll get into some snake bites, black and tans, black velvets. Half and halves. I don't know.
We'll start making some crazy stuff. You're
We're
gonna love it.
We're gonna do some beer cocktails, as it were, and we're also gonna show you some the way the pros do it. So we'll see you in a bit.
Cheers.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And now let's welcome the new big mouth from the great Northwest. The one with the wide open style that really lets you have it. Schmidt Big Mouth. And as your big mouth, I propose Schmidt Big Mouth. A great new drinking mug from Schmidt Beer. Don't just talk about it. Open wide and say, ah.
Well, open wide and say, I guess. Schmitz, I've never even tried a Schmitz. But,
Oh, you don't know what you're missing.
well, yeah. Okay. Well, compared to the Guinness, I'm not sure that I'm too worried.
No, you're not missing out on a whole lot.
Yeah.
But it's a great commercial. It's was
Yeah.
it Mike Farrell from
It looked
from MASH
It,
on there.
it absolutely was Mike, and I recognized him right away. So without further ado, we're going to get into, as we promised, we're going to get into a black and tan. And again, we don't have Bass Ale, but we've got Fat Tire, which we did on the last episode. And so we're going to try a Fat Tire, half Guinness. Let me get those ready for us.
Sounds good.
Give us a quick recap on the Fat Tire, if you would. Is
All
it amber
right.
ale?
Fat Tire's an amber ale. It's New Belgian breweries out of Fort Collins, Colorado. It's been around since mid to late 80s, and it was one of the first 20 breweries, one of the first 20 craft breweries in the country.
Yeah. And this
Fantastic amber.
and this, as we mentioned just before the break, is this the draft version of the same thing. It's the Guinness Extra Stout, but it's the draft version. And the thing about this is it's like it's on tap, right? It's like a draft ale. And so this is going to allow us to hopefully get we'll see, but hopefully get the separation that you want to have in a black and tan, or any of these split beers, as it were.
So my understanding is that when they make this draft version, they actually keg the beer like they would send it out to a restaurant or a pub.
Oh, is that right?
And then they bottle it, then they can it.
Okay.
With the nitrous capsule inside.
Okay.
Is a replacement for the nitrous barrel that you would have on site.
Okay.
So this is, it's the authentic thing. It's in a can, but it's
Right.
it's a real deal.
You'll notice when we open it too, it's going to have a lot more of a pop to it, and you're going to hear. Well, you may not hear it, but you can hear it when you do open it. It's kind of like bubbling and crackling, and it's like alive. It's really amazing. So what I'm going to do now, first off, is I'm going to try to split this beer in half. Put the first half down of the half and half. And again, normally this would be done with a Bass, a British Bass Ale. But as Bass is not readily available here, we're going to go with this Fat Tire, as Eric mentioned. And I'll tell you, the flavors, it's really similar This is so similar to the Bass Ale, which is another great ale.
Yeah, it makes my mouth water.
Look at that. All right,
at
so
that.
we're about good
We're
split
almost
there.
there. So now we need to
We'll have
bust
to
out the
move
tools.
We're going to move our bulldog over there. So now we got to bust out the tools, as you said, which is we have a couple of different tools to do this with. This here is the Black and Tan turtle.
Gotta have a turtle.
Yeah, so that fits right on the top like so. And then I actually have one from Dublin, from the Guinness Brewery, that a friend got for me. And this one works a little differently. It sits on the edge like so. So you get that little bit of an angle there, and it's going to dump it off. And let's see what happens. You want to pour your own?
Oh, I trust you.
All right, I'll happy to give it a try. But if it doesn't work, I'm just saying.
If it doesn't work, we
Here
got
we go. Listen
more
to
beer.
this. Listen to this. This is amazing. So you see it bubbling out like that. So I think ideally you want to hit it pretty quick because you don't want it to settle in the can,
Exactly.
right? Once you crack it, you want to kind of get down to business. And so here we go. We're going to try this one. Uh-oh. I've already kind of messed it up, I can tell. But it might work. I'm just pouring it over the back of this spoon.
Looking pretty good.
This might work. I think the turtle is going to be a little nicer. Probably work a little better. But this might actually have some separation to it.
Oh yeah.
That spoon just breaks it up so it doesn't sink straight to the bottom, right?
Exactly.
Getting a nice head on it.
You know, the surprising thing to me anyhow, is that as dark as this beer is, as it appears, you would think that it's a very heavy beer. But in actuality, it's a really light beer. It's 4.2 on the alcohol. It's got a really light flavor, a velvety finish. It's, you know, if you just close your eyes and sampled it, you wouldn't think you were drinking, you know, a Bud Light or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it's got a lot more flavor and character than that. But it's,
But it is very light.
It doesn't leave you feeling like you just drank a heavy craft beer.
No, I mean at 4.2%, I mean that's nothing. I mean a lot of gas station beers are more than that.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, we're gonna put that out there as well. So that's the Guinness Draft version, 16-ounce can with the little hockey puck inside it. And there you go, Eric. Yours actually,
at
your
that.
turtle actually worked out a lot nicer than my spoon from
That's all right.
Guinness. Yeah, you want to
let's
do
check
this
that
beer
out.
lunch? Oh, look at that!
at that.
Oh my God, that's gorgeous.
We got the multi-level here.
Well, you can't really do SRMs with this one, but
I mean, you got to figure out the happy medium. But I
Yeah.
mean, you can obviously tell that there's
That's a
there's
sw-
separation there.
yeah. Okay, so the turtle is the way to go.
Turtle's the home.
That's the way
home
to go.
remedy.
And then you look at this one. Yeah, I didn't do quite so well with my spoon.
Maybe it was practice makes perfect, you know. But
hey, you know, I'm not complaining. I'm still gonna drink
I'm
it.
gonna drink either one.
I'm gonna drink it anyway. Cheers.
Cheers.
Love it. Oh yeah,
And that's good.
right, because the two just balance each other. It's just so
Yeah.
nice.
Now, as you take your first sip, you're obviously tasting mostly Guinness.
Yes,
But
well,
as you-
you are.
Yeah. Well,
Mine's
true
a
that.
little bit kind of
A little cup of kai.
mixed
but,
up. Yeah, right.
You know, but we get a little farther south on the beer, and you get a little bit of the mixing going on in your mouth. It's almost like doing an upside down margarita. That's a whole other show. But you know,
I don't even know what that is, Eric. But okay, sure. The upside down margarita.
yeah,
Okay.
it's a
But-
whole different thing.
Right.
Wait for the Cinco de Mayo party.
Okay.
But anyhow, you get the blending of the two flavors, and that's really where it all pops.
You do. You really do. And listen, if you don't have the turtle, a fancy turtle like Eric does, or you don't have my Guinness spoon from the brewery, which doesn't really work too well, you can take, you sneak into the kitchen. You get yourself a spoon, okay? And you
Wait
can
till everybody's asleep.
just don't let your wife see you doing it. And you just take the spoon and you just bend it like that, right there. You just
Oh,
there you
yeah.
go. You got you.
That's
You
the
got
first
you.
time you've done this, huh?
That's you. well, you know, I mean, I don't want to give it away, but that's what you do if you don't have the fancy turtle like Eric. But you drop that. What's nice about this though is you can. Let's get a fresh glass. You can actually, you know, you can get down the lower you can get to your first half.
You're right.
You know, you're going to get a better separation.
Yeah.
So
and you can raise that up along with you there.
But no, we gotta. You know what? Time is running out, so we need to get on to our next.
We need to see Damon.
No, we need to go to
we need
Damien.
to see how professional Porous is.
Yeah.
So with that said, let's cut to Damien down at Mulligan's. He's going to explain to you what the difference between a real black and tan is and a half and half.
Right.
Good, how you doing, boys? Excellent. Cheers. So basically, this is a half and half. It's the first cousin of the black and tan. Now, the reason why we don't do black and tans here is because we don't carry Bass, which is an English beer. A lot of people think it's about the color. It's nothing to do with the color. Black and tan is basically a half English, half Irish. That's where the Guinness and the Bass comes from. Back in the day, the black and tans were the English soldiers that were born in Ireland. They used to inform on the IRA, and that's why they're called black and tans. Hence the half English, half Irish beer. But this is the first cousin. This is the real Irish black and tan, which is a half and half. Guinness and Hart. Sláinte, boys.
Well, there you go. I mean, Damien, thank you so much, and Mulligan's as well, and Mike, and those you guys, fantastic. What a great pour. Always is, and probably always will be. He does a great black and tan. He does a great snake bite, black velvet. You name it, half and half.
That was a half and half, yeah.
Whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I mean, it just was awesome. So, and the sun. I mean, the sunlight coming through the window.
Yeah, Sunset at Mulligan's is just, it's a special deal, man. Sunsets at Mulligan's. Mm-hmm. Having a pint with Damien, and
yeah, having Damien pour you a black and tan is you can't be beat. So thanks again. Cheers, Damien. Eric, cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you. We need to. You know what? We are running out of time here, and we need to quickly get into our
next one.
Black Velvet.
We're looking at Black Velvets here. We're looking at Black Velvet is cider and Guinness. Mm-hmm. So we're looking at it's a similar mashup, but it's a completely different flavor. You know, this is going to give us, some of the,
well, you're going to get the sweetness,
citrus, but the sweetness.
You're going to get the sweetness coming through on this one.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's, a girly drink or anything like that. I mean, but it's,
it kind of is though. I mean, I know a lot of girls like this drink. A lot of girls like it. A lot of females like this drink.
Yeah, but it's refreshing.
But here you go.
Yeah.
So. Sorry, Eric, but
Go for it.
No. So down at Mulligan's, as we mentioned a while later, they use the Strongbow,
Right.
cider, only because you can't get the Irish stuff out here.
Exactly.
And I couldn't find Strongbow this morning, so we're going with the Angry Orchard cider. It's a hard cider. It's crisp apple cider. I don't know anything about this. Other than I think it's going to be great with the Guinness Combo Black Velvet mix that we're about to demonstrate for you here.
It's a nice contrast.
Yeah,
you know?
it's pretty sweet, and we're going to get to the sweetness really goes well with the Guinness and vice versa. So here we go.
I think it sounded like a chocolate covered apple.
I like that. Yeah, you know what? I got to try this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say crisp apple is
Pretty
accurate.
Good, pretty good.
Yeah.
Good description.
Yeah, it definitely is. So we got you do about this is a 20-ounce imperial pint, right?
Right.
Because like they say, size matters. As Guinness says, size matters.
Exactly.
So these are 20-ounce imperial pints, and I'm gonna make sure we get it squared away here. There we go.
Oh, look
good.
at that!
Perfect.
Like a pro.
Like a pro. Oh no! Did I mix them up? I sipped out of one of them. I can't remember now. That's yours.
Matter.
That's yours. All right. So here we go with the Guinness. Let's get the. We'll do. All right, you got the turtle.
You gonna do the turtle on both of them?
No.
Were you going to
whatever.
try your
Yeah.
invention
What,
there with
how
a
about,
broken
how
spoon?
about how about you try? Oh yeah,
Oh,
let's.
yeah.
You know what? Let's do
Now,
that.
you know,
Let's,
you did pretty good at it. I'm going to let you continue.
let's try the spoon. Let's try the homemade spoon. This is what I did in college anyway. I never had the fancy. I didn't have the fancy turtle like you did, Eric. But yeah, hey, you know what? We are running out of time, big time here, guys. We have got to. We got to get on this.
You can't rush a Guinness, though. You got to learn that, man. You can't rush a Guinness.
But you see now how that, you know,
Getting down close there makes a difference.
you get that spoon down to the first half, and you're going to get this really nice separation of the two. Look at that. Now this is a cider that I'm pouring on top of this cider, and cider, of course, is a lot thinner than beer, and yet it's still.
Getting that Mr. Turtle out of the way here. You're doing pretty good with that spoon.
Hey, watch out, Damien! Coming for you, buddy. We're gonna show you.
Show you how a professional does it here
Yeah,
in a minute.
Damien pours an amazing black velvet with the cider. He really did, and does. But no, I'm pretty happy with this pour. This is better than the black and tan or the half one that we just did.
I'm impressed.
Oh well, thank you. I'm getting incredibly lucky, but no, we're getting a nice little mix there, a little half and half mix. And the thing, what's cool too about this is that, you know, obviously as you drink it, right, it's going to start to mix up. The two are going to mix, and that's fine.
That's where the magic
But,
happens, you know?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So there you go. There's your spoon right out of the kitchen. Make sure you get an old one. And my goodness, I just for fun, I just want to see what that might look like on the
Look
beer
at
light.
that. Oh,
Oh,
that's a pro job.
It's a picture
I
perfect.
mean, we can look at all kinds of colors
It's a
here.
picture perfect.
Yeah, I mean, you got the
I
light.
just want to just. I'm sorry. I
Oh,
just
take it.
gotta-
You need a
yeah,
picture there.
Yeah. There
Leave
you
it.
go. Hold on, Eric. Hold on. There you go. Beauty.
So I mean, the crispness of the bottom there, we're looking at almost a 1, and on top, I mean, we talked about a 40 plus.
You're a 1 to 40.
1 to
I mean,
40.
What
You
a,
don't.
what a mix! What a great mix is
That's
that?
beautiful.
How's that?
That's
Wow.
beautiful.
And the thing is the flavor. When you taste this, and once that sweet cider slips past that stout, and they mix together a little bit,
I tell you, man, that's
my goodness,
a good drink.
it is indeed.
That's a good drink. It's chocolate covered apples, man.
Of course, that first sip for me just there was mostly Guinness, but and you could always, I mean, the thing is, as you drink it, it just kind of it works itself out. But man, wow, what a great flavor! And so I want to just put these out here to share with you. That's that would be the black velvet.
That's
Those two
delicious.
right there. That's the black velvet.
What do you think? Should we see what Damon has to say about a black velvet?
Oh, quickly, because we are running out of time. But
right.
yes.
Welcome to Mulligan's, boys. This is called a black velvet. So it's basically just cider and Guinness, and because we don't have cider, because Paradise Beverages took Magners off the island, of course, we're going to use Strongbow. So it's basically just Strongbow and Guinness. It's called the black velvet. A lot of people think this is called a snake bite, which it's not, so, you know. And all it is cider with a floated Guinness on top. And it is really delicious, especially out here in Maui with the sun beating down all day long. There you go. Oh boys. A perfect black velvet. Not a snake bite like this do in California. Sláinte, boys.
Oh man,
Nice. Not a snake bite, a black velvet. I love
Absolutely.
it. This thing, I mean, then there's no way I'm going to even begin to rate these because they're all 10s.
Yeah, I mean, where do you go with that? You know.
Yeah, you just can't. It's not possible
It's,
to rate them. Guinness is a world-class, world-renowned, famous stout.
Yeah, if you're selling 10 million glasses a day, you're doing something right.
There's no reason to rate.
If you got a 9,000-year lease on your place and you're only 300 years into it,
Doing something right.
yeah, I can't
Yeah.
wait to see what they're doing in 1,000 years.
Yeah. And with that said, this beer, I mean, the Steak Bite, the Half and Half, Black Velvet, Black and Tan, whatever you want to call it, they're all fantastic. Guinness is amazing. Guinness is the best stout in the world, and it always will be, in my opinion. So, thank you for checking out this show. Cheers, Eric.
Cheers, Steve.
We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching the Beer Show. I'm Steve B.
Eric T. Don't drink and drive.
2, 3, 4. When I'm lonely, I drink a fancy beer. Oh, when I want you only, I drink a fancy beer.